Welcome everybody to the arena. We're back with some best ball content. We're going to do the Eliminator, a new series starting episode 1 today. The arena, we're going to do talking about the new Eliminator and the new format this season. Excited to jump into it. Let's go. What's going on, everybody? Waiting for this Eliminator to fill, so we're going to jump in a little bit of a rankings talk and talk about the format a little bit. Should be a lot of fun. Let me make sure my mic is working correctly. It looks like it is. We're good there. Hopefully there's no crazy background noise. Make sure that is set up too to remove any unnecessary background noise as well. Let's see here. Yep. Got that figured out. Let's see how we want to do that. I like that. That's fine. All right. Let's pop some music on and we'll jump into this goodies, man. So a couple things I wanted to talk about is like, let's turn this up a little more. So one thing about this year's Eliminator is that I'll go ahead and share this tab. So if you guys don't know already, the reason this is called the arena is because it's kind of like a 50-50. It's you kind of like just duking it out with one person every week. So the first week is 6 of 12 because this is your original pod, and then every week after that is 1 of 2, 1 of 2, 1 of 2, all the way to the finals is 1 of 3. So that should be pretty interesting to kind of piece through. Fact of the matter is, it's going to be really hard to advance anywhere past like week 8. Like anywhere past a few weeks is going to be really hard. Like if you max the tournament, you're really only expected to get teams to week 9. Obviously, that's not going to be what happens because there's going to be people that make it to week 15, 16, 17, week 12, week 14. So it's like, you got to defy the odds and make your team have a better chance, ideally, or your collective of teams. So I just think there's just a lot of different strategies you can go. Like you could say, oh, I want to win the onesies. I want to win quarterback, tight end. Or let me just make a good team that's like just strong all the way across the board. Like there's no glaring weaknesses. I think zero RB is a lot harder to pull off in this. I think you can pull it off, but it's really risky. A lot of times you're going to just be screwed by the time you get to week 5. You're just done. So let me jump in here real quick. So that being said, CMC is actually like one of my favorite picks in this whole tournament because I think the late bye weeks is kind of a cheat code. It was kind of a cheat code in the last thing as well. So I'm going to be trying to take as much CMC as I can. Obviously, he's moved up in price, but I think it's still a good pick. It's like you get a running back that should be good all year, theoretically. Like that's why you're picking him up here anyways. And if he's has a week 14 bye, you could just have a locked in, loaded, like strong running back until week 14, which is like obviously if you have Gibbs, you have until week 8. So it's just like you get CMC to week 14. If you make it to week 4, if you just happen to be at week 14, you're like ecstatic. You've already made like 10,000. Like I don't know the exact amount. I'd have to look into it further, but if you get to week 14, you're already getting 4 figures. You might even be like 5 figures. You might be here. So like I'm okay stacking late buys. Like you could even, if you want to, just like I'm just gonna make sure I have strong teams up until week 12 at least, or up until week 10 or whatever. And you're like, okay, let me just stack some buys up, and I have week 12 buys, I have week 14 buys. That's fine. I'll survive. If I survive there, I'm happy. If I can make it past there, I'm ecstatic. So it's like I really think the late buys could be kind of like a cheat code in a sense. I'm not saying you need every player to be week 14. buys are really big in this. You just don't want to be like left so weak at positions. Like you don't want to be sitting there with your Puka, yeah, like this for example. Puka, Brian Thomas start. I'm gonna take Drake London here. I think I'll eat the week 5 bye. It's not that big of a deal. Could get Jonathan Taylor too. Brock Bowers. I always like getting Brock. I'll get London here. So like it's just hard. It's hard to parse through, but like having a week 5 bye is not a big deal when you just have him alone. But when you like your first 2 picks are week 5 buys, and you pull up to week 5 and you just, I mean, most likely you're gonna go up against a pod where someone has both their first and second round pick, and you have one or neither. Like that's a big disadvantage to throw yourself into, especially when a lot of the rookies haven't like came on strong. Like down the stretch, like if you take a CMC team or like let's just say you take Lad, hopefully by week 12 you have some rookies in your lineup that are going to bubble up to the top and be super valuable for you. Like that's kind of the idea, I feel like. So 1 second here. Okay. Apologies for the bad radio. Bad host, bad host. So gotta finish up something or take care of something real quick. So anyways, back to what we were talking about. I think the backloaded production is like pretty like one of like the key points of like the original contest on Underdog. What's up, Disbanded? Good to see you, man. I think it's like one of the keys of like playing Underdog, like playing Underdog contests in terms of like week 15, 16, 17 being their own weeks in their own pods, new, basically brand new slates essentially. Whereas like these are all brand new slates, but like every week is just as hard as the next because it's always 50, 50, 50, 50. So like backloaded production is like really not like it's good to have. It doesn't hurt you, but like it's not even like a priority really. Like you need front loaded production most importantly because if you're not front loaded production, you're just not gonna make it. Obviously, you could get so lucky and just like skate down and make it to week. Oh, Kittle's kind of tempting here too. I'm gonna get Kittle. I just like having access to San Francisco offense, and I have week 14 double there, so I'm okay with that. I would have liked to get Pickens. I've been trying to get more Pickens, but that's fine. So my next pick will be probably one of these collective of players here. All late buys, all strong. So I like all of them a lot. But getting back to that point is just like backloaded production is so important in those traditional best ball contests. Where like in something like this, front loaded production is important because if you don't have any front loaded production, like if you just go a bunch of rookies and just try to make it work, like 9 times out of 10 you're going to get knocked out early because you're not going to have time for those rookies to get developed. Obviously there's those times where you can get a rookie that just like smashes from day one, and these high draft like the Genties of the world don't really count as like traditional rookies where they're not going to be like late season bloomers. But like Hampton, he should have a role from day one. He was highly drafted running back, but like Henderson, I have a little bit more like concerned about taking him in these kind of contests. Let's see here. I think I kind of like getting the access to that Washington offense, getting a piece of Daniels there. So I don't know. It's just like it's a conundrum really because I do think I think Eliminator stacking late buys, is just a smart strategy. I think that is like the ultimate takeaway that I've had from the last year of Eliminator, even when it was different format. I think the late buys is like honestly like super sharp, and I think I'm gonna make sure to try to prioritize them a little bit. I don't think you need to like go overboard on it, but I think that grabbing a few is just smart. Like you don't, if you're gonna do one or the other, since every week is the same, you would rather have a bunch of late buys. And like you can get away with like 7. Like if you want to go like half of your team is week 14, week 12, week 10 buys, you can do that. And it's not bad because if you make it to week 9, you're already making your money back. And then some. I'll pull up the structure here so I can actually take a look at what it is. So 196,000, so about 90. Let's see. 98,000 in the next round. So you get the cash starts. Let me see here. Prize pool cashing starts 24,000 people. So that would be week 4. You make it to week 4, you get your money back. So before buys even start, or actually you make it through week 3, you get $10 back. Is that right? Yeah. So if you make it to week 10, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, you're already making $1,000. So if all your buys are concentrated past week 10, like so be it. Like that's fine, dude. Like not that big of a deal. Jaden Reed, Ayuk, this is kind of a yucky spot. Rome's okay, I guess. I should take a running back Pacheco. Mooney, Cup, Downs. Oh, that's not a fun pick. That's fine. It's like I just wish I had a different option other than take another week 5 bye. I probably could have reached for Downs, but I was just probably going to grab him next anyways. Mooney's probably off the table. I don't want to have... Yeah. My thought process is, like, don't leave yourself so, like, in such a bad spot where, like, unless you're super... Like, obviously you need to get lucky. That's, like, a given. But, like, unless you're super, super lucky, that's the only way you're getting through. Obviously, you got to be lucky in general. And I'll reiterate that many times. But, like, if you're going to make it through this tournament, you don't need to be, like, setting yourself up to be screwed over, like, week 6 or something. Which, like I said, if you make it to week 6, you're still, like, profiting. But, like, you know, don't set yourself up to just be like, oh, when I make it to week 6, I'm dust. Like, okay, I'm okay with this. Like, okay, if I get to week 12, week 14, I'm probably dust. But I'm, like, super happy already. Like, I made a big profit. That's the way I think of it, at least. Quarterback is something to think about now. Purdy, definitely one we want. Pacheco is a fun pick, I think. I mean, Pacheco's just a good pick. If Pacheco is anything like himself, he's like a smash pick. Obviously, we don't know how that's gonna be, but I like the prospect of taking him there. I actually like Pittman, or I like any of these guys here. It's a little bit more dicey. Higgins is nice. Yeah, I like, honestly, any of these 3 that I can get next. I'll be happy to snag any of them. Justin Fields is a guy I like taking on these because just you don't need to stack them. Yeah, it's really a mind twist. There's just a lot going on, but I do think that a couple things I feel pretty confident saying, because no one really knows how to do these tournaments. These are brand new, and the format's brand new too. Being the 50-50 every week, like I think pretty definitively, like late bye weeks is a sharp way to play. It just makes sense. Like, just thinking of it realistically, it makes sense. B, I think bye weeks are super important, and how like the bye weeks combined with draft capital is very important. So, like, I truly think, like, doubling up your first 2 bye weeks is just not very smart. I'm gonna try to avoid that the best I can. I'm happy to do it in regular contests because you can make up those points. But, like, on a 1 week sample, losing your first 2 picks is, like, really tough, especially if those first 2 picks are week 5, week 8, earlier buys. Then you even have less outs because there's, like, less injuries early in the season. There's less stuff like, oh, running back goes down week 7, now we have a week 8, or running back goes down week 10, and the rest of the season's a rookie taking it over. Like, that happens a lot less early on because players are generally more healthy at the beginning of the season than the end. So I think there's just a lot to unpack, and that's the hardest part about it. There's just so much to unpack. There's just so much to unpack in this contest, but that is something I feel pretty confident about. Late buys, sharp. I don't like to double up like my first 3 picks. Ideally, they all have different buys, but I'm definitely trying not to let them, like, Bateman, Keon. I think I just need to get Purdy's a pretty nice pick here, so I'm gonna take him. Caleb just went 2, so I think I'm kind of missing out on a tier. I'm probably gonna miss out on Shaheed, but it's okay. And then I can get fine with Geno. Very fine with Penix, and that's probably, I can go Herbert. Just kind of take a stack on that offense. So, yeah, like, if you can make your team as strong as possible for, like, until the late weeks, I think that's, like, a really good way to play. Because you're going to go against teams, like, if we look at the first round, we can actually take a look at this real quick. So Jamar Chase is a week 10 bye. Pretty optimal there. We have Barkley with a week 9 bye. We have Lab with a week 12 bye. Bijan with a week 5 bye. Just curious if there's anything to tell here. I'll take Shaheed here if he's available. There's Bijan. JJ's got week 6. So fact of the matter is, like, Gibbs week 8. So, like, if you have all your guys backloaded to week 10, I'll take Shaheed. If you have all these guys backloaded you can really benefit from the idea of like having late bye weeks, because like you're going through these weeks like, oh, these guys are missing 2 of their first 3 picks. Like I have a big advantage. I have CMC, Drake London. Obviously week 5 I'm off Drake London and Rome. But I still have CMC. You know, I'm not missing 2 super high upside pieces on my team. You know, assuming health, of course, but like I just don't. You really don't want to do that, and maybe that's very obvious for most people, but I think it won't be for everyone, considering someone did that exact thing on this room. It was the Brian Thomas, and maybe he's doesn't realize, doesn't think about it. I'm guessing he didn't think about it. I just don't think I would ever do it, because when you show up to week 8 without your first 2 picks, everyone's Rashi Rice week 10. Let's take a look at this team now, actually. Jake Hammer. So if you show up to week 8 without Puka, without Brian Thomas, without Charbonnet, without Montgomery, that could be hard. Like that, you're really playing with fire there and trying to get through. And I don't want to be doing that. If I get knocked out, I get knocked out. My team wasn't good enough. That's probably what's going to happen to most of my teams. But like, I'm not trying to get knocked out because my construction with bye weeks was poor. Because that's in my control. I can control not taking double week 8s in the first 3 rounds or whatever. Like I can control that. I can't control, you know, the guy in my pod going for 150 for no reason. You know, he has Jack Betts scores 40 points and I'm just dead. Like I can't control that part. But I can control my construction and like what I'm doing. So like I'm not gonna be like losing weeks because my team just gets screwed because I had 2 week 8 buys as my first 2 picks, you know, like, and maybe it's fine. Maybe his team's going to just skate through week 8, no issue. That's going to happen to some people, but I think a lot of people are going to lose in week 8 because they're going to go up against someone that has 2 first round, you know, a first and a second round pick when you have none, essentially. So, all right, I like Njoku a lot. Just think he's just a nice value in general. I think he's just a strong pick. I might stop there. I feel pretty good about those 2. So that's going to buy me a little bit of extra juice in other positions. But yeah, I just think he's a strong pick any way you slice it. Hollywood's kind of interesting too. Kyle Williams. Yeah, I think I could take a rookie shot here if I want. Definitely Slayton is definitely interesting too. Or not Slayton, Wandale. And I think you want to rewire your brain in terms of like, okay, obviously you need to have like a good floor at every position. I think that's definitely a requirement. You don't want your floor to be just like the basement on every position or like on any position, honestly. But like right now, I would say pretty comfortable. Like I have a pretty strong tight end room. I have a pretty decent receiver room, very strong running back room, and quarterback is fine for now. I'm going to make sure I build in floor by taking 3. You just don't want the bottom to be... Oh, no. Okay. That is unfortunate. I mean, I could take Shuck, I guess, right? Yeah, I'm still okay. I'm gonna get Kyle Williams, and I'm also gonna get like Shuck, or not Shuck. Sorry, I'm just gonna take like two safer bullets at running back here or receiver. Benson's I like Benson too. Probably going 5 running backs deep here. See, like then when you take it and then like doing this stuff allows you like all these late buys, assuming they're healthy and stuff. Like you can take a guy like Benson. You could take a guy like I mean, I wouldn't take Rendo. I don't think on this team to have CMC, but like you take a guy like Braylon Allen, and then like, you know, who knows what happens by week 14, week 12? Like what happens? But what happens then? Maybe you're live and Benson, you know, takes over a couple of games like that. That's what can happen. Like I don't think Benson's coming in. It's more likely Benson comes in week 14 to play than week 3. I think that probability might be somewhere, I don't know, like 60-40 in that spread, maybe even more. Because like James Conner most likely stays healthy early on. Like there's no guarantee of that, but good shot. What up, Christopher? Good to see you, man. Yeah, he's a good pick, I think. Good draft capital. Really can't argue with that. He's really no one to compete with. I think he's a fine pick for sure. I like him. All right, so probably just really gross, but I guess I'm just taking Darnold and Shuck. At least I have something, but I also don't think you need to stack. Like, you don't have to stack. It kind of like makes it a little more like clean, because you're like, okay, well, I already took JSN, so like Darnold is going to help me help like JSN getting there at week to week is because Darnold's giving him. So I'm going to have that little baseline production. Like, I don't know, JSN goes for 101. I already have, about 10 points for Darnold, and obviously assuming he gets a little more than that. So hard to say. I like JJ McCarthy a lot. I mean, if JJ McCarthy's there, I think I just take him unstacked and not really concerned with it, just because I think he's just I think that's what I think unstacked quarterback is like totally fine. Like, I don't think you need to worry about it that much. So he's gone. There you go. So I think unstacked quarterback's fine. Completely fine on this. In fact, that being said, I think I might just take Geno instead. And then I'll take one of Shuck. Because, yeah, I'm just going to take Geno. I'm pretty confident in the Raiders being pretty good at offense. Whereas I don't feel that same level of confidence for Seattle and the Saints. Understandably so. So, I'm happy to take either of those. So these are my riskier shots. Darnold most likely plays the whole season. Shuck honestly does too. But, the Raiders' prospect as an offense is, miles, and the Niners too. They're just miles ahead of Seattle and the Saints. So, I'm happy to get rid of that double. I'm happy to not have both of them, because those guys just feel like bottoming out every week. Whereas I feel like there's a very good chance that Geno with Bowers, Genty, Myers, and Betch are gonna have he's gonna have some pretty good weeks. So there's Wandale. I do like taking Alec Pierce. I don't know. I'm gonna get access to the Bears. I like having access to the Bears here. I'll take one more running back. So I'm taking one more quarterback, a couple more receivers, and then one more quarterback, one more running back, and a couple more receivers. I take a ton of Slayton. I don't really want to be doing that continuously, but Pat Bryant, I feel like he's just a good pick. Good pick. Good draft capital. Path to playing time is pretty reasonable. Ascending offense. Diami Brown is a great pick. 2-2, I feel pretty similar there. Let me change the song here. Yeah, so this is really, I'm excited to do this series because I just have so many thoughts on this format. I'm really excited to be monitoring them. Obviously, I'm in the reality where I know I'm going to be looking at it by week 10, and I'm probably going to have hopefully one team left. But who knows? The whole goal of this series and this stuff is hoping that I have a little bit of a further edge on the field where I can have more teams than the average person would have by week 10. Most people at 150 max are going to be done by week 10, but there's going to be those people that have 5 teams left or 6 teams left or 3 teams left or 2 or 10 even. There's going to be people that have a ton of teams left by week 10 because they built in a way that really helps them. Obviously some luck there, of course, but I think what you can control is your structure. And if you're building a way too thin of a structure, you're going to bottom out one of the weeks. You have to sun run regardless, but my goal is to make my team as strong as possible in all positions. No brainer there, but and it has to be really well done. If you're going super thin at one position, you're going to most likely bottom out one week. It's going to come back to bite you. And I think that's the main moral is don't let your mistake, your draft decisions bite you in the butt because you didn't take enough receiver power or you didn't take enough running back power. I like Shipley. I'm already Braylon Allen's just chilling here, right? Yeah, I'll take Braylon. That's fine. All right, so I take either Shuck or Darnold, and then I'll just grab a couple receivers and be done. Yeah, Braylon Allen just sitting there waiting for me. I feel good about that. I got 2 I feel likely are the running back 2s on their teams, and could have upside in a different vein there. And then I have my kind of like 3 tier right there. Hopefully by week 14, Hampton is like locked and loaded, top running back on the team, and Pacheco is like coming up to speed, getting healthy. And I have both of them for week 14. I also have maybe Swift misses a game and I have Roshan, or maybe Brees misses a game, or he's traded and I have Braylon Allen, just the running back 1 on the Jets for a while. Knocked out 50 Eliminator. This is Eliminator. Yeah, this is Eliminator. Yeah, I think I'm about same. I think I'm about same there. All right, so I probably need to go. Yeah, I need to grab Shuck before I get sad. So I get Shuck here, and then I have some receivers I like. 2 picks left. This is going to be a classic 3-5-8-2. Probably my favorite structure in this contest. I am in the camp that tight end is really important in this contest, but I also think if you want to punt it off, you can survive it. So if you're going to be weak at anything, I think the tight end is probably the best the place that you should be okay being weak with. But I also like the idea of just like dominating the position every week. And with the team like we got the group like Kittle and Joku, I feel like I could do that. Like I could be winning like the week every. Like I could literally win my 1v1 because of tight end, or just like stay in the mix and then have these other pieces that are strong too. I think both of those things could reasonably happen with the team I have here. So I like the prospects there. Let's see what we could do. I'm hoping I could get like it's hard to say, but I want 2 of these 3. There goes Pat Bryant, so I don't know. I would double tap 2-2 and Diami if I could, but I don't know. I'm not feeling good about them coming back to me, but we'll see. See what else we have. AD Mitchell is fine. I've been taking him a bit. Roman Wilson is there. Tolbert is like not the craziest pick. I like Ty Felton more so in the regular stuff, but he's there. You can double stack. Maurice Alexander, who's that? It's weird when you see names you've never seen before just like pop up out of nowhere. We'll see. Hopefully I get Diami Brown. Fingers crossed for Diami Brown. If I don't get him, I'll just take 2-2. But yeah, it's like you can leave yourself weak at tight end. I think that's the one thing I'm willing to do. I'm pretty much always going to take 3 quarterback. Like just quarterback injuries happen a lot too, and like the last couple of years have illustrated that too. But like you don't want to be sitting there. You lose Purdy for whatever reason for a few weeks, and then you just like, oh, Geno gets 8 and Shuck gets 10, and then I'm dead. I lost by 10 points. Like that's so easy to happen. Whereas like if you take 3 quarterbacks, you're just like pretty much just like 3 like solid quarterbacks. Ideally stacked if you can, but don't always need. Damn it, man! Really? Okay. It's gonna be 2-2. Like it's just really scary, and you can really it's not that hard to like allocate enough capital to just not to avoid that happening altogether. And I think that's kind of what my goal is. So like I just don't want that to happen to me. It's as simple as that. Like obviously injuries can happen in any position, but like I don't know, if I lose Hampton, still fine. If I lose Purdy and then it's week 8, let's just say Purdy misses week 8, I have Shuck only. He gets me like 6 points. I just probably lost. Like I just lost like straight up, because most teams are gonna have like a 20-point game at quarterback. So if you're just gonna sit there and get your 6 at any point, you're giving up so much points, like so much easy points there that you're just giving up. So I don't ever want to be doing that. Obviously you can, and I'll probably have some teams like that where you just go, yeah, I'm just gonna take Purdy and Tua, and it's just gonna work out. Like, okay, sure, it might, but like, how many more points are you getting by adding Geno Smith onto that team instead of Jaden Blue. I don't know. Like, let's just say you add Geno Smith to that team instead of Hank Bigsby. Like, how many more points are you getting throughout the season? Probably a good bit, in my estimation, of like just from taking. This is so tough. Just gonna take AD Mitchell. The Tolbert thing is kind of, I feel like Tolbert and Turpin are like the same thing now. Whereas like without Pickens, I feel like Tolbert was like a way better pick. But with Pickens, I feel like there's just some interchangeability between, like, they're just gonna throw Tolbert in a little bit, they're gonna throw Turpin in, and it's like there's really no solidified piece there. Although maybe he's just like Turpin's just like kick returner as he always has, and then Tolbert's just like on the field a lot. I don't know. I like taking the shot on AG Mitchell. Like, he could jump up that lineup. If it's A-Rich starting, deep throws, any week he can catch an 80-yard bomb. I feel decent about that. So, end of the team off, we have Purdy, Geno, Shuck, Christian McCaffrey, Hampton, Pacheco, Roshan Johnson, Braylon Allen, Drake London, JSN, Debo, Rome, Adunze, Rashid Shaheed, Kyle Williams, Tutu Atwell, AD Mitchell, Kittle, and Joku. So I like this a lot. This is just the way I like to build. This is a lot of fun. I really like this Eliminator contest. Like, it's genuinely my favorite on the site. And we're gonna do another one because that was fun. So give me a second here. All right, let's do another one. Yeah, it's just so fun, dude. So fun. I'm gonna be doing this. Will probably be my main series this year. I'll do some BBMs on stream, I think, but I'm gonna do a lot of cardio BBMs, and I just want to do as many of these as I can on stream. This is just a blast, and I have a lot of thoughts about it. So I hope that I can help people think of other ideas they want. I don't think there's any like one right answer, but I have a couple ideas like in my brain that I want to continue to like develop and see what I can do with it. And I think it's going to be a lot of if they do the same format, which I think there's going to be good feedback for the people that do well in this contest. So hopefully they run it back either again this year or next year as well, and we can kind of have a lot of takeaways, like what didn't work. Like, there's gonna be a lot of nuance because, like, okay, how well did zero RB do? How well did early running backs do? How well did late running backs do? How well did early receivers do? So there's gonna be a lot of nuance, but I think it's gonna be really helpful to look at, like, here's my teams where I started with elite tight end. How did Brock Bowers do? Did the elite tight end, was it worth it? Was it not worth it? You know, did it end up hurting me because I didn't have, you know, an elite wide receiver there? Like that. Those are things I need to think about, or things that I'm gonna want to be looking at. Did the double bye week matter? Like, I have a team that made it to week 12. How many teams? Like, how many teams did you see? How many teams did you have where you had double bye week make it through the first couple rounds? Like, did you have any teams like that? Maybe I didn't. You know, look at other people's teams. Like, did they have a bunch of teams like that and they didn't make it through? Something to think about. So it's going to be a lot to think about. Bye week dynamic. What was the most important position every week? Because, I mean, on average, like, you're gonna score the most points. You're gonna score the most points at receiver every week, or running back, because you either have 3 running backs or 4 receivers. 3 running backs and 3 receivers, or 3 running backs and 3 running backs and 3 receivers, or 2 running backs and 4 receivers will be your lineup construction. In some weeks, you'll have 2 running backs, 3 receivers, and 2 tight ends. Very rarely that will happen, but it will. So yeah, like I said, so there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like almost nine players that have early buys. All right, so I'll take Amon-Ra and Nico probably. Yeah, that's fine. There can be 2 different bye weeks here. So at the worst, week 6, I have no Nico. At the worst, week 8, I have no Amon-Ra. Another thing that I think is smart to think about is like, I think this is just smart in any aspect of best ball. June. Being good. Lost my train of thought. Yeah, I think it's just smart in every aspect of best ball where like I think the schedule, like where like dome schedule and stuff is like helpful because I feel like the game environment, if a team plays a lot of dome games, it's just better. Like think about Detroit's game. Obviously they have a good offense, but like it's like unamplified when they have like half their games in a dome basically. Same with the Vikings. Same with I guess you could say to an extent the Chargers in Houston. You know, they're less likely to have those ugly, gross games where it's like 10-5, 10-6. It was a tundra. You know, it just happens less in those dome games. Happens. It just is a lot less likely. And I think like those games could, if you have a lot of players from those games, like it's going to be hard for you to be consistent. But whereas like one thing we know that's consistent is dome games and like the dome environment is very consistent. Outdoor games are inconsistent, which means the production could be even more variable than it already is to begin with. So I think like if you can get these kind of guys, it's even better. I think it is like a slight edge there to focus on them. I think it's just in general, but like in reality, ownership doesn't matter. So like if these are chalk guys and they make it through, it doesn't really matter for me. Whereas like I'm not gonna want 0%. I don't know. I'm not gonna want 0% AJ Brown in most contests or many contests because like it's AJ Brown and he could pop off any week. But at the very least, in the Eliminator, I might give a slight edge to Brian Thomas or something because I'd rather have Brian Thomas because he plays most likely warm weather every week. Where AJ Brown could have those weeks where they just run the ball the whole game. They don't ever throw it because they didn't have to. Whatever. Just a little bit more volatility with that production week to week, where like AJ Brown's going to win you weeks, but he also will give you those down weeks when they just don't pass very much. All this to say, it's not like I'm fading AJ Brown, but like if I was going to be underweight a group of players, like I might take a little more Brian Thomas in this contest versus AJ Brown, just because that factor. It's not a big thing, but it does matter, I think, and I think that there should be a bump in the regular contest too, because just having that dome, either having the dome environment in the weeks that matter the most, which is like weeks 15 through 17, week 17 being the most important, having that dome environment's big just because consistently it's going to be good weather, so you have that constant. And then on the flip side of that, you have the aspect that like on the flip side of that, you have the aspect that like those other teams that have a little bit more variable in their weather late, things can go very wrong fast, early and often. Like those games could just be cold and gross or windy, like way more often. And you just get one of those weeks where you have AJ Brown and you have, give me a second. I'll continue that thought in a second. My mind's scrambling here. Let's take Mike Evans. And giving me 4th round Kyren is fine. Like it's a lot more daunting to take Kyren like mid-3rd there. Yeah, mid-3rd, or actually early 3rd, and I get him early 4th or beginning of 4th. So like I'm definitely going to be like, week 8 is kind of like on high alert now. I'm going to probably not take much of that and make sure I don't take any more running backs that are week 8 is my two thing. Well, unless it's like a last round or something. But ideally, no more running backs week 8. But I think this is a fine start. Anyways, back to my point. Just weather matters. I think that's very clear. Weather matters with game totals and like predicted production. So like I think we should keep that into account in all contests. So I'm taking it into account in this contest because even more so because a low-owned AJ Brown could win you everything in the regular contest or like get you through a week, whereas a low-owned AJ Brown could get you through a week in this, but it doesn't actually like do anything more than that. You could just have the high-owned guy and the same thing could happen, really. Ownership is like very not meaningful, especially in the late weeks. Like it's not going to matter. Like, okay, I have 2% Travis Hunter, but it doesn't do anything for me because it's just like the ownership doesn't matter because the field is so small. So the ownership doesn't matter. I don't think it's like bad to have, but it's not like it doesn't like make a considerable impact where like a 2% Hunter could just like nuke all your teams to first place in your pod so you make the finals teams, or 2% Hunter in the finals could win you the whole entire tournament. So, and yeah, let's say you have 2% in the Eliminator finals, you have 2% Hunter and he pops off. Oh, it doesn't matter because I still lost because the teams I had in my pod were better than me, or they, obviously, if you make the finals Eliminator, I think you're just happy. You're netting yourself 76,000, so I think you're pretty happy either way. But just thinking about it in terms of winning, it doesn't actually help you. Ownership does not matter in that case. But yeah, I think that there is some value to be had where like you just break some ties, not all ties. Like I wouldn't want to have like 0% of a guy because they play in a dome, especially in the regular contests. With like a thing with Eliminator where consistency is so important. Like you literally have to win a 50-50 arena battle every week, over and over and over and over. Every week you got to win. So I want like most consistency as possible, and how I can lock that in is dome players, dome teams, or teams that play in dome, team that plays against people in a lot of domes. Like the Detroit, Minnesota combo there. Like they both play in a dome. They play in week 17. That's a good couple teams that you can lock in a lot of dome games. Chargers, Houston, Arizona, the Florida teams that have warm weather, most likely. Like those are all relevant. So Kittle would be sick here. So I hope I get Kittle. Week 8 is kind of in I'm trying to avoid week 8, so I don't think I'm taking a week 8 bye here. Let me get Kittle. Come on, bro. Nice. Lost Waddle. I wanted Waddle, but that's fine. So I get 5th round Kittle. Just double tap Niners here, maybe. I'll take Kittle for sure, and I can think about what I want to do here. I can take Pollard. No week 8. I don't really like Travion as much in these contests. Feels a little bit of a slower start. Judy. Olave or Judy. Or Jennings, sorry. I'll take Olave. I take a lot of Jennings. I like to just kind of sprinkle both those in, but I'll take Olave. And there's not a lot of week 11 bye is pretty chill, I feel like. Let me take a look at week 11 bye again. I think there's just like 2 teams on there, maybe 3. Take a look here. Saints and Colts. So yeah, just 2 teams. Yeah, this is just this. I could talk about this shit forever, man. This contest is really fun. I can't wait to sweat them out. And obviously, I'm gonna be probably like, it's gonna be a very mentally like hard to like come to terms with, where you're just seeing like, oh, there's half my teams are done. Like after week 1, you're like, oh, well, I have 70 teams left. Like, it's definitely gonna be a little bit of a mental hurdle, but I think it's gonna be really fun. Like once you get to the pay weeks, it's like, oh, sick! I got 5 teams left and 4 that made it through. This is nuts. Like it's just, I don't know. Hopefully I get to that point. Hopefully I have a pretty decent year and I can kind of talk through those sweats, and hopefully you guys enjoy checking it out too. So I have 2 on recording today, and we'll get more recorded and put out there for you guys to watch. Whether it helps you or not, or at least just gives you a different perspective, I think it's all good stuff. I've been trying to learn everything I can on this, and a lot of mixed bag of like what people think. Like some people think elite tight end's most important. It is so many different ways. I think there's just different ways you can get there, but I think, like I said, top priority is just like not leaving yourself too thin at the big positions, running back, receiver, making sure you don't like lose unnecessary points at quarterback. And if you need to take the dive in one position, I think tight end's the one to take the dive on. So, and then not doubling super early buys and really paying attention to the bye weeks. Those are like the 4 factors I think that can hurt you the most in this contest. So week 5 is open. We don't have any week 5 buys. That's good. There's some guys here that I like. So there's Mooney, Golden, and Jaden Reed. 4 those guys there. Swift is fine. Caleb Johnson's fine. Judkins is fine. B-Rob's fine. So I got a chunk, like all these players, I'm like okay targeting them. So if I get 2 of these, well, I'm probably gonna get 2 of these 6 players. Well, I don't know about. I'm probably going to. I just hope I do. So there goes Swift. There's 1 down. There's 2 down. 2 of these guys can survive. And there's 3. They're all just going by the wayside here. B-Rob and like Mooney seem pretty fun. Or B-Rob and Golden. So just let me get B-Rob at least. I don't really want to take Pacheco again. I really don't want to take Pacheco again. All right. Come on, guy. All right. If this guy takes Mooney, I'm going to be down bad. You take Pacheco. Go Mason, though. Okay, good. Let's go Mooney, Cup. Definitely taking Mooney. Go Mooney, Hawk. That's kind of fun. We can see how it goes. That's a lot of capital at tight end, but I don't hate it. Mooney, Hawk, or reach down for Mason. We're probably going to need like 6. This is going to be a different structure than the 2-5-8-3 probably. Let's do this. Or the 3-5-8-2 is going to be different, I think. It's going to be different than the 3-5-8-2. Probably going to do like 3-6-7-2 probably. Because I'm going to need an extra running back. But I don't hate this. This is kind of fun. Like, I'm live for Goff. I'm live for Baker. I'm live for Shuck. I'm live for Penix. I'm live for Stroud. I'm live for Purdy. I'm live for McCarthy. Like, that's pretty fun to have all those outs still. I think that's another thing that's important is like thinking of your quarterback outs. I think in just general, but like having the backstack quarterback outs is pretty fun in this because it's just like I have, you know, a lot of times if Goff's doing good, Amon-Ra's coming along for the ride. And a lot of times if Baker's doing good, Evan's coming along for the ride. So that's kind of a fun setup here. And then obviously like not quite the same case for these 2, but like my top 4 all feel pretty kind of correlated. Like Olave does good. Shuck's probably having a good game or an okay game. Evans, you know, same with these 4. Mooney is like hit or miss. Hawk, Kittle, hit or miss. Kyron just felt like a good value to grab. All right, let's see. Let's see what we can do here. Purdy, Goff. Hopefully I can just get 3 in this window and just be done and not have to think of like, hopefully I get 3 of these 6. Oh yeah, him too. Yeah. Any of these guys work for me. So if I can get 3 of these guys, I'm pretty happy. And then I'm going to be sprinkling in running backs. Scadabo's a guy I think is a good pick. Straight up. Javonte, I'm trying to get more of. ETN, I think any of the Jacksonville guys are good bets. Ty J is nice. All right. We got options. Baker, I think Baker's just a slam dunk if Baker's there. But yeah. Wish list here is Baker Scadabo. Yeah, Baker Scadabo would be my dream here. Let's see what we can get. nervous. Start pulling up the draft board. I'm kind of behind the 8 ball though. I need to get back to that stuff here. There goes Scatabo. Sad. Yeah, it's gonna be a weird running back team. Probably it's gonna be a little bit less than I like to have, but yeah, and like the running back production's so like linear, where I think like you can really just jam those guys pretty confidently. Ah, there's Baker. That goes. All right, so we can got a few options here. I think I'm just gonna take Brock. No, I'm gonna take Brock. I just like him. I prefer him to Goff in a vacuum. And I'm gonna take Javonte and get my first give me another running back. Love the double tap quarterback there, but I still have options where I don't need to like force it. So there's a world Goff falls back to me since I have him on Raw. Don't hate Drake May either, just to grab him and can even stack him up late. But I like what I got here. Just really need to be conscious of the week 8. There's a lot of week 8 buys. How many are there? 6. That is the highest week 8. So most teams you're gonna go up against in week 8 are gonna have buys, but on the chance that you show up in week 8 and you're going against, you have like 3 early week 8 buys and you're going up against someone with like none, you're just giving them like I don't know, maybe their team sucks or just doesn't have a good structure and you can get through, but like most teams by that point are probably gonna have good structure. Like not like awful structure where like I don't know, they went like per se 5 quarterbacks and 5 tight ends. No particular reason I said that example, but like stuff like that might be already out by then, most likely. So you can bet that like if you have like 3 early week 8 buys, like maybe it's just say like 3 out of your first 5 picks are week 8 buy, like you might just be like giving up 20 points on that guy in projection, and you might just be done, like be in some pretty deep doo-doo there. Okay. I'm happy to take. This window is just so strong. Like I'd want to live in this area where like I'm getting my quarterbacks here in Eliminator 2. It's like you get the combo of like pretty safe floor, and also like they're gonna start like the whole season. Like in most scenarios, they're starting the whole season. Like these guys. Once you get down to like Bryce Young, Geno's probably starting the season. Stafford. Like there's just this range. Like Geno, here we go. Geno, A-Rich, Darnold, Shuck. Like those 4, I don't want to be living that. I definitely don't want to be taking 2, but I don't want to live in that range either because it's just so much risk there. Happy to take one of them though. Like I'm happy if I take my third and it's A-Rich, that's fine. If I take my third and it's Darnold, that's fine. I just don't want to have 2 of them. And there's gonna be a lot of people that boxed out, and people that get boxed out to the point where they have to take like Rodgers or something, or Dart and Russ, like the Dart and Dan. I don't want to be in that world right now. You don't have to be. There's enough there's enough quarterbacks in that range where you can not have to do that. All right, let's see if we get Goff. We're 9 picks away. Let's see if Goff can come back to me or not. Let's see here. Wilson Loveland. Yeah, I might be able to get him. There's a world here. There's a world here I can get him. Come on, dude. Don't do me like this. Don't do me like this, Route 44. No. No, he took Stroud. Oh my god, are you kidding me? You did not just take Stroud from me, bro. Crazy. I'll take off. And McCarthy. This is fun, though. I like this. This is a fun start. It's like, I would have felt a lot better. Like, JD McCarthy is good. Like, I have no, like, I get a dome guy that is in a great offensive situation, great coordinators, probably, honestly, better passing outlook than Stroud. But it has, like, Stroud more, like, he's more proven, obviously. Like, JD McCarthy's barely played at all. So, like, would rather have Stroud there, but that's pretty fun. Purdy, Goff, Stroud. That's a 6 start or a 6, like a very like probably like if I was gonna pick my ideal quarterback room, it would look something like this. Like throw Goff, like swap Purdy for Goff or for Love, swap Goff for Fields, swap him for Stroud, swap him for Penix. Like it doesn't really matter. Swap him for T-Law. Like this is the range I'd love to be in. Like swap Purdy for Baker. Doesn't like any of those things I'm happy with. I would have preferred to get like one of these other guys stacked up. Like give me Nico stacked, give me Evan stacked, but it's not that big of a deal. So I have no overlapping buys here, no overlapping buys here, no overlapping buys there, nothing there. Just got like kind of cross positional stuff. So really right now is I just need to figure out what I'm going to do at running back. There's not a lot here that I love, but there's guys down here that are definitely usable. I'm going to just take what I can, I guess. What's Hunter? Yeah, it's pretty gross, man. We'll see what we can get. Eckler's fine too. I don't want to forget about Eckler. Garendo is not bad. Yeah. All right, we got some stuff here. Receiver's pretty strong. We only need maybe we could stop at 6. We're feeling frisky, but it just depends because we're done at quarterback, done at tight end, and yeah, it's hard to say. I'm done at quarterback, done at tight end, so I might just go. Might just stop at 6 receivers. We could do 3-7-6 or 3-6-7, probably 3-6-7, but we'll see what running back looks like after these next couple picks. It's not really looking promising, but I don't know. Rico's probably. I mean, is Rico just the clear 2 there? I mean, the only other guy it could be is Jonathan Brooks. I should probably be sprinkling some more Rico in. Seems like a fine pick for this team. But these top 4 is what I want the most here. I'd like Garendo. Be kind of a fun pick. So in this team, I have a lot of early buys, but I don't have too much overlap. Like the only overlap I have is Amon-Ra and Kyren early. So can survive it. My running back's just super weak right now, so I'm trying to figure out how I want to go about it. Benson probably wouldn't be a smart pick. I'm trying to help my week 8 prospects, and if I have, because Kyron's just kind of be hopefully the locked-in guy every week besides week 8. So I don't really want to add on that week 8 crunch, even though there'll be a lot. Maybe I go in and buy a guy that has a ton of week 8 buys, even more than I do, but I don't really want to be in that spot. So Algier is a good pick, just in principle. Eckler is, I mean, outside of a round like 6 guy. Yeah, I mean, I'll take Eckler. He's gonna have like weeks where he either B-Rob misses or Eckler just like has a role. Like I don't know, like that whole offense is just fun because Daniels makes that offense fun, and there'll be weeks where Eckler goes like 6 for 50 in the air and gets like 30 yards on the ground. Like that's gonna happen. They do have Debo now, which probably takes away some of those short targets, but I think it'll be fine. Let's take a look at this real quick here. All right, so we got this one. Oh, so I just had that locked in there. Looking at my daily drafts I did for WNBA today. Got a couple live ones, I guess. This one's fine. No, not really. Yeah, I have like, God, the Rivers really screwed me today. They didn't do anything. Unfortunate, to say the least. So it's Shipley, Lloyd, Roshan. Yeah, I mean, any of these running backs, I'm pretty happy with. Ford is okay, I guess. Slayton, Damien Brown. I'll probably take another week 8 guy, but that'll be when the buck stops there. You can take another 80 Mitchell share, Tolbert this time. It's just not a lot. It's all week 12, week 5, and week 8. Ty Felton. He's kind of a fun pick on this team. I don't really like him for the Eliminator as much, though. These like low-owned, like high-risk plays, where like Ty Felton is like somewhat lower-owned, but high-risk. It just doesn't really feel right to me to be jamming those guys in. But I like Slayton, I think. We got week 9 for Shipley, right? Yeah, we get Shipley for sure. That makes a ton of sense. And then we'll take yeah, probably one of those guys after. Let's get Slayton in, and then we'll see what we look like here. You know, I don't hate this. I don't hate it at all. We got quarterback. We got Purdy, Goff, McCarthy feels really good there. Would have loved to get Stroud. Would have been even better. We got Kyron, Javonte, Algier, Eckler, Shipley. All guys I feel like have solidified roles in their offenses. Javonte's could get kind of bad, but could also be good. I mean, I don't know. Like Javonte could just be that guy. Like Dallas, like doesn't do anything. It could just be like Rico kind of, and you know, Javonte kind of gets a little resurgence. I'm rooting for the guy. I was pretty big on Javonte early on. Bad injury. A lot of times they don't come back from that stuff, and they don't like ever come back and be strong again as a player. But you never know. Maybe Dallas sees something we don't, and he's gotten better. Who knows? Who knows? But all I know is he's in a good position to score fantasy points, and if he ends up being the primary 1A running back, he's definitely a value at 109. But it could bottom out. Like they could add someone. He could just be bad, and Blue is way better than him. Miles Sanders could be way better. There's a lot of stuff that could go wrong, but he could be a pretty large win, I think. I've been trying to kind of load up a little bit more on him now. So we get good camp news that he's just like the clear one, which wouldn't be too much of a leap considering the depth chart. Obviously, the depth chart isn't strong, but like he's just like, you know, the clear top guy in a room full of a lot of like lower people that had less talent than him. And a unproven rookie. Like I just think that there's a world where like all throughout training camp they're like, Javonte's our guy. He's our guy. He's the Cowboys dude. Like we've been waiting to unleash him. We're excited to have him on our team. Like that could just easily happen. Easily happen. So is it going to happen? I don't know, but like easily could happen. So I have 2 guys I want. Okay, Jarquez I actually didn't really care about because I have Kyron, but yeah, I have options here. I have my most desirable options at the top there. If I can get both of them, I'd be pretty happy with this squad here. Because that would leave me week 8. I'd have Nico, Evans, Olave, Mooney, Slayton. Totally fine. We'd have Javonte, Tyler Algier, Eckler, Shipley, Woody Marks, Kittle, Hawkinson, and Woody Marks goes. Okay. Damn it. All right, let me at least get Damien Brown. Come on, guys. Jordan James. Just take a YOLO shot. Rashard Smith. I got Donnie Brown at least. It's really, really disgusting at running back. I don't know what I want. Samson's there. This is ugly, man. Probably just taking a rookie bullet here and just hoping for the best. I could take Jordan James and just like Garendo obviously showed he's good. I think there's a lot of like something to say that like most people that Niners put out on the field are going to be pretty good just with the way that offense operates. So if there's a reason that Jordan James needs to play, or if he's just the 2 de facto, and like we need to give McCaffrey a little bit less work, he's still going to be our guy, but we're going to give him a little less work. Definitely, or you know, hopefully it doesn't happen considering my stance on McCaffrey now. But like, you know, what if he misses a few games and Jordan James is just the more likely 2 over Garendo? Crazier things have happened. So I would have much rather had Woody Marks, a much safer pick, much more meat on the bone there in terms of just like a much better percentage chance play. Whereas like Jordan James, I think is like a 5% bet to hit, maybe 8% chance to have any relevancy, I guess I'd say. Woody's like honestly like a 40. Like Mixon goes down, Woody's like gonna be valuable in some way. Whereas like McCaffrey go down, there's like still like a 30% chance that Jordan James doesn't do anything. So yeah. Anyways. Rashard Smith is just I'm gonna load up on him if we get better news, but like they have 4 running backs in the backfield. And the Niners basically have the 3. Basically 3. I mean, Patrick Taylor hasn't been doing anything for a while, so I don't know. Not my favorite pick, but there wasn't really much out here that makes more sense. Like, there's no like better options here. Like, obviously, you could take a guy that's had role already, but it's kind of a hard sell considering what we have. We already have Kyron, so I don't want to do Corum also. Ollie Gordon, you know, we need more news. Sean Tucker, need more news. I mean, he might have been a better pick probably, but we've already seen Sean Tucker be good. He's kind of like he's like probably if Bucky went down, he's probably a better pick than like if I don't know about that. If CMC goes down and Jordan James has a role, Jordan James is a better pick. But like in terms of like if knowing what we know today, if CMC went down, I would feel better about CMC went down and Bucky went down, I'd feel better about Sean Tucker, just like straight up. So maybe he's someone I should be sprinkling in these. I don't like to get to this position. Woody Marks is kind of my stopgap. It's like, okay, I'll take him as my last running back. If I don't get him, it's like I don't want to touch a single other person down here. Not an eliminator, I feel a little bit better about Rashard Smith because I can get the back weighted production potentially, but like even then, I don't feel great about him right as currently stated. I'm glad he's on the Chiefs, but I don't feel great about his prospect like immediately. So, anyways, the team is Purdy, Jared Goff, McCarthy, Kyron Williams, Javonte, Algier, Eckler, Shipley, Jordan James. So pretty weak at running back, but I do think it has enough front-loaded stuff where I could be okay. Definitely needs Javonte to pan out, and then just like give me some random weeks from Algier, Eckler, Shipley. Crazy things happen. Obviously, Kyron needs to be a locked and loaded guy, which is no reason to think he won't be where we currently sit. So not bad. I would have liked to get, I don't know, somewhere in here. There's probably a spot where I could have got a better running back. Maybe like, I don't know, skip out, like get rid of Algier, make it be a quarterback there, and then take a quarterback 130. Maybe. I don't know. Not sure. But I mean, I love the quarterbacks. Love the quarterbacks. Tight end's great. Obviously, okay, here's probably where I went. Like, it's nice to have this because I do feel really good about tight end every week. But if I didn't do this and just took another running back, and just took like, I don't know, Kincaid or something, I'd feel a lot better. Like I could have got something up here. So after the fact, reviewing the team, I would rather have had another running back. Just from looking at what it looks like now, I'd rather have another running back here. I feel like I just get bottomed out really quickly. Could work out. One of those like really high risk, high reward teams compared to my last one where I just felt like really good all around. This one is like super high risk, high reward, where like if and only if these running backs can do enough, this could be a really awesome team. But if they don't, I could be out in week 2. So not the best situation, but it could be interesting. You know, if Hawk and Kittle have good years and we get like a Javonte resurgence, this could be a pretty sick team. So love the quarterbacks. Receivers are completely fine. Plenty of receiver power here. Tight end is like supercharged here, so I could win tight end, win receiver easily, and be great at quarterback, and then just like be a little weak at running back. So it might be fine, but I could get dusted at running back and just be dead. So in hindsight, now that I'm like reviewing the team, I definitely would rather have taken Hawkinson and made him a running back, and then just moved any of these running backs to probably any of these 150 guys to 150 plus and take them to be a tight end instead. I think that's what I would rather have done. So, and it wouldn't have changed too much, but made my tight end production a little bit lower. So, yeah. But I don't mind taking a shot on this every once in a while. Just getting a guy on a team like Minnesota on this kind of team is very could be really powerful. You know, if he has a good year, and getting a piece of that team can give me like a very solidified floor at tight end with a ton of ceiling with Kittle. So could just be like winning tight end every week, and then like every once in a while I just like go run away with it and I just win the week. Like I win my 50-50 because Kittle drops 30. Like just simple as that. Boom. I made it through. You know, that could definitely happen. I could see that happening. You know, Hawkinson gives me like 12 to 15 a week. Well, he gives me like 12 points most weeks. Then Kittle drops 30 every once in a while and just nukes me through the week. Definitely gonna happen. So anyways, fun teams, fun eliminators. So we got 2 drafts in on stream. Gonna label those bad boys, and yeah, we'll be back soon. This is the new season, new series of the arena. It's gonna be probably my most frequented series that I'm gonna do on this channel this year. I think I'm gonna try to be the eliminator guy, be the eliminator bro, and just make some eliminator ass picks and really dive deep into like what ideas we could try, what ideas make the most sense, what ideas worked in the previous year's eliminator, and if there is any takeaway from there. I think the biggest takeaway from that is just that the late bye weeks are sharp. Stacking late bye weeks is sharp, just for multiple reasons that I went over already. And I think I'm going to continue doing that thing, try to focus on that a bit, not be my only strategy, but just be something I focus on a bit. And then bye weeks, they cannot be ignored in this. They could be ignored, I think, pretty reasonably in regular stuff. But when you have a week-to-week sample and you're giving up 20 points because your bye weeks are kind of poorly set up, you're really playing with fire there. And if you're going to do that, at least make them week 14, week 12, week 10. Week 8 is fine, but it's not really as great as like stacking up week 14 buys, because you just get so much more. If you make it week 14, even if you lose week 14, you're already made your money back and then some. But if you make it to week 8, you're not making your money back for a full 150 max. So that's the way I see it. Anyways, everyone have a wonderful day. Have a good Memorial Day weekend. Another day of the weekend should be a lot of fun. Gonna spend time with some family. Everybody enjoy it. Be safe. Everyone have a wonderful rest of your weekend. And as always, find value in everything you do. And Christopher, thanks for hanging out. Disbanded. Later, guys. You guys all have a wonderful weekend. And yeah, another good time. Gonna be, like I said, this will be the main thing I do. So I'll be working up some thumbnails and getting these going. Probably get an intro going as well at some point. But yeah, we'll get these rocking and rolling so we can have some more content. And like I said, Eliminator is gonna be my thing this year. So hope you guys all enjoy it. Enjoy the Eliminator content with a little bit of strategy. I'll do some BBMs too and other contests, but I'm gonna talk a lot about the Eliminator and the strategy that I think of and try in that. And yeah, we'll do everything, but Eliminator I'm gonna focus on a lot. So hopefully you enjoy that. And we'll get you plenty of best ball, regular, like traditional best ball content too. But Eliminator is going to be my thing, and I hope you guys enjoy it. See you guys later. Find value in everything you do, and see you later.